Hi there. If you're new, I'm Camille with 30 Day Singer, and today we are doing some major scale ear training. This is not the first time that we've worked with the major scale. The reason we return to it so often is because almost all of contemporary music is built on either the major scale or the minor scale. So we will jump right in with a little bit of review. So remember that a scale is just a collection of pitches in a specific order. The major scale, I trust you already know what it sounds like. It sounds like this. We also have the minor scale. We have other types of scales. We have a blues scale. We have different types of minor scales as well. But again, we're focusing on the major scale. So let's talk about how to build a major scale starting from any pitch. I just played a C major scale, meaning that I'm starting and ending on C. So I'm starting on C, and then I'm ending on C as well. Another important thing to understand is that these scales repeat. So while I might start on C4 and end on C5, I could keep going. Okay, and that would sound like. So that was a 2 octave scale instead of just 1 octave. And we could do the same thing in the opposite direction. So I could start at the top of the scale and then keep going. All right. And hi, Mark, Sandos, Nick, Cookie, Carl. Great to have you guys here with me. You might remember this from a previous lesson. So our major scale is built in this order, and I'm going to put it in the chat. We have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half steps, that is. So remember that the smallest interval in Western music is called a half step or a semitone. So if you play any note on the piano and play the very next note next to it, you are playing a semitone or a half step. So for example, if I play C to C sharp, you could also call that C to D flat. And I would like to be able to show you my piano sitting on my lap here. But probably the better option is for you to have your own piano up and ready. So virtualpiano.net, if you want to follow along, here it is. All right, so you can follow along with me. Again, just quickly defining a half step. That's any pitch on the piano with the very, very next note, whether that's a white or a black key, whatever is bordering that pitch. So another half step would be if I play C and then B right below it. That's also the distance of a half step. A whole step, you probably could guess, 2 holes, or no, halves equal whole. So I put 2 half steps or 2 semitones together, I get a whole step. So again, walking up the keyboard, if I go from C to D, that's what we call a whole step. It would just be a half step if I went C to C sharp, but I'm going C, D. Okay, so whole step, 2 half steps or 2 semitones. So that pattern right there, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, that is the pattern to create a major scale starting on any pitch. I would love for you to open up this link now, and things will start to make even more sense when you can see it in front of you. It's also in the video description, but I just put it here in the chat for your convenience. So you should open up in another tab, pianoscales.org/major. And you can see we have C major scale, what I've just been playing, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if you compare that to the whole step, half step, you'll see it all adds up, that all of those blue keys, okay, from C to D is a whole step, from D to E is a whole step, from E to F is a half step, because notice there's no black key in between. F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, B to C is another half step. So you know this already intuitively. If you can sing that major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you already know 1, 2, 3. Those are all big whole steps. Between 3 and 4 is a half step. Then you have whole steps again. 5, 6, 7, and then 7 to 8 is our last little half step. So that's another way to think about it. A major scale is nothing whole step except between scale degrees 3 and 4, and then 7 and 8. So if you take a look at this, we have C major, D major, E major, F major. So if you would like for fun, either on a keyboard if you have one or on that virtual piano, try playing some of these scales. So let's look at D major. And you'll notice that even though we're starting and ending on different pitches, it sounds the same. The intervals are the same. So compare. Now I'm going to play D major. It's the same scale, it's just starting and ending on a different pitch. E major. Notice that one has 4 black keys. F major. G major. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. We are going to sing a little bit of what we call stepwise motion. So what we're covering today, we're covering stepwise motion, meaning we are moving one step at a time. So 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, 3, 2, just one step at a time. So that's first. And then we'll cover leaps within the scale. So instead of going 1, 2, we might go 1, 5, or 1, 3. So we're skipping over some notes. You could call that a skip or a leap, or just an interval larger than a second. And then we are going to build chords with the scale. And for that, I'm going to have you open up this second resource. You don't have to open it up now, but you could if you wanted to. So my friends, let's start in C major. Singing, let's do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 pattern. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy peasy. And then we're going to walk down to the key of B. And I'm going to call out those pitch letter names as well, or at least I'll call out the key that we're in. Okay. So starting with C major, again, this is stepwise motion. We're walking up the scale and then walking back down once we get to the 5th scale degree. Ready and sing. Key of B major, or the B major scale. B flat major, or the B flat major scale. Notice I'm playing in 2 octaves, so I'm playing right here and right here for different voice types. Last one. Nice job. So that was the key of A major. Let's add on, do the entire scale. So what I mean by that, instead of going just to 5, let's go all the way to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we'll hang out on 8 for just a second before we turn around. Start in the key of A. And by the way, if this feels really easy to you, it should feel pretty easy if you've been singing for a while. Any vocal warm-up typically follows this order. We're in one key, kind of working within one scale, and then we change keys, but the type of scale stays the same. Okay, so if it feels easy, it's probably a good thing. So we're starting in the key of A. We're singing the entire scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By the way, instead of singing 8, you could sing 1. Because remember that scale repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I didn't play the right note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on. Does that make sense? So 8 and 1 are the same pitch letter. They just might be in a different octave. Okay, let me call out the pitches this time in case that's confusing. So I'm playing A, that's my 1. A, B, C sharp, D, E. I wish I had a third hand. This is my 6th scale degree. F sharp, G sharp, that's 7. And now A again. So for that top note, I could either sing 8 or 1. I personally use solfege. And so that system would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So again, that bottom syllable, do, and the top one, same, because you're on the same scale degree, just a different octave. Okay, here we go. Key of A, singing on numbers or solfege, whatever you like. Ready and sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Key of B flat now. I would love for you to pay attention to those half steps. Remember where those are? So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a half step between 3 and 4. And then again, a half step between 7 and 8, or 7 and 1 if you choose to sing that. Key of B flat, ready and sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Key of B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extra points if you are following along with the Piano Major Scales website and scrolling so that you find the key that we're on so you can see. What did we just do? We just did B. So we just sang B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. By the way, if you're a person who kind of struggles with matching pitch or singing in tune, this is a great resource for you because you have these pitch letter names at your disposal. What you can then do is use a chromatic tuner on the side and check that you are singing in tune. So you can practice these scales with your chromatic tuner. You can, have it at the ready and you're singing and you're going, let's say you're starting on B and you're trying to sing a major scale. You would sing da or 1, and you would see on your phone, if you have that chromatic tuner open, you would see if you actually are singing a B. You would go B, C sharp, D sharp, and you'd know exactly what pitch you're supposed to be singing. Okay, last one. Back to key of C, ready and sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. All right, let's this time just start at the top. So instead of the full scale, up and down, we're going to do just descending. So you get used to going down the scale, not always starting at the bottom. So let's go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give it a try. Ready and sing. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving down, key of B. Where's your new high 1 or 8? Right here. High voices, low voices. Ready and sing. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving down, key of B flat. Again, that high 1 or 8. Ready and sing. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one, key of A. Find your high 1 or your 8. Ready and sing. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know that as a singer, as a beginning singer, it might feel a little bit pointless to sing scales. But I promise singing these scales within your vocal warm up, that's typically when we're doing that, it establishes your sense of pitch, your sense of singing in a key and staying in that key. As a singer, I know because I've sung these scales so many times. If I'm singing, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that was not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was correct. And likewise, when you're singing a song, you will be more aware of what key you're in, what pitches belong in that key, so that you'll know internally if you're singing the correct pitches or not. Even though I know songs aren't just stepwise motion, they also skip around, jump around. So let's practice that now. Let's start in the key of C, and let's actually take a little stop in this road trip. Open up that second resource that I had put in the chat. So that's the pianoscales.org/ major harmonizing.com. Give you a second to open that up. Okay. So I know this looks like a bunch of nonsense if you are not familiar with music theory, but I'm going to make it make sense for you. So we're starting in the key of C major. If I'm playing a song in the key of C major, now I know, okay, C major means I'm using the pitches of the C major scale. So I start and end on C. I follow that pattern of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I figure out those pitches are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then I start over again at C. Okay, so that tells me what pitches belong in that key. I can also figure out what chords belong in that key. For example, C major, G major, A minor, F major. Very, very popular common chord progression there. But how do we know that those belong? Because they are built from the pitches of the C major scale. Stay with me. So we have our scale. Toggle back to that first resource. C major, notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I form a chord by playing or singing one note, skipping the next one, playing or singing the following note, skipping the next one, and playing or singing the next note. So what that is, C major, I'm going to play C, skip over D, play E, skip over F, play G. I'm playing now C, E, and G. And what do you know? If you go to that other website, beautiful. It tells me the tonality, meaning is it major, minor, augmented, oh my gosh, augmented or diminished? Augmented, that's fun. So it tells me that I've got a major chord. It tells me it's the first scale degree, meaning starting on my 1. The chord is C major. The notes in the chord, C, E, and G. Okay, so we can find the next chord just by starting at a different pitch in the scale, following that same pattern. Let me start on D this time. Again, what do? We skip the next note, play the following. So I'm playing D, skip over E, play F, skip G, play A. What am I playing? D, F, A. And again, look at that second resource. Now I know that's D minor. The notes that belong are D, F, and A. And those Roman numerals, you'll notice those stay the same as well. So for C major, those Roman numerals, you have a major chord, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. And then, of course, that pattern would repeat again. Thank you, Sheila, and thank you, Cal. And Sheila, I so heavily encourage singers to play instruments. That's fantastic. I will admit it took me a little bit too long to kind of embrace playing an instrument because I just thought, I'll never be the best piano player, so why even bother? And that is a poor attitude to have. Playing an instrument, even if you don't become amazing at that instrument, I am not. I don't call myself a piano player. I play just enough to accompany myself, accompany my students, play scales and chords. That's all you need. And like you say, scales, chords, all of this stuff is really excellent for training your ear and teaching you music theory. So that is what we are diving into right now. All right, tell me if this is making sense. So we've got C major, we've got D minor. See if you can figure out the next one by yourself with the help of these two resources. So we're going to start on E, skip F, play G, skip A, play B. So this is pretty easy to do if you have a piano in front of you, because basically you've got 5 fingers. You're using your thumb, your middle finger, your pinky finger, and you're just moving that shape up one scale degree at a time. So it's really easy to play C major, D minor, E minor. My hand is just claw, claw, claw walking up. E minor. We'll go over these next ones fast. F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, which is really fun, and back to C major. Yeah. All right. Let me see if we get into sevenths here. We do. Okay, this is really fun. So Sheila, this is going to be super fun for you. So notice that was 3-note chords. That's like the basic type of chord. You can also, following that same pattern of play a note, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, you could play 4-note chords, which we call 7th chords. If you're interested in jazz, then you should like 7th chords. So by this same pattern, we can find C, E, G, B. So that gives me my C major 7. What am I singing there? 1, 3, 5, 7. And you can go up the scale. D minor 7, 2, 4, 6, 1, or 8. D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G dominant 7, A minor 7, B half diminished, and back to C major 7. So fun. And again, your hand is just staying in the same position and moving up 1 scale degree at a time. If you scroll down, I know we're getting crazy here. I won't make you sing these, but you can also play and sing 5-note chords. So you're singing or playing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Our 9 is also, you could call that a 2. Once we get into that territory, those are extensions. I think they're going to stop at 5-note. Yeah. We're not going to play 6-note chords. After all, we only have so many fingers. So what I'd love to do with you now is sing these triads. We're going to stay in the key of C major. I'm going to play it for you first. So I'm going to play 1, 3, 5, and then you'll repeat. Then I'll play D minor, and you'll sing. At any point, you can drop octaves or jump up an octave, okay? If it ever gets too low or too high for you, find the octave that fits. Here we go, C major. Listen first. Sing. D minor. Sing. E minor. F major. major, A minor, B diminished, C major. Awesome. Let's try it in a new key. Let's try it in the key of A major. Same thing, listen and repeat. Okay. When you're really, really experienced, you could start to do this without the help of the piano. You could sing, let's say 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 1, and so on. And you could just check in with the piano every now and then to see if you're in tune. All right. So A major, either octave that you like. Again, listen and repeat. This is A major. Singing. B minor. C sharp minor. D major. E major. F sharp minor. G sharp diminished. A major. Let's come back down just for fun. G sharp diminished. F sharp minor. E major. D major. C sharp minor. B minor. A major. All right. So I remember learning in college. I remember learning this whole Roman numeral system, the major 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7, major 1 again. And I just had to memorize it by rote. I didn't understand it. And things really clicked for me. Learning music, there's so many moments like that. You don't really understand something, you just memorize it, and then you understand it. And it's like, oh, okay, great. So that was one of those things for me when I realized how these chords were built. And because the scale is following the same pattern, the chords are going to follow the same pattern as well. And it just all started to make sense for me. Mark, I would not hire me to play piano for you, to be honest. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and that might not be very relaxing for you. Okay, so I would love to now start leaping around in the scale. This is going to get really fun, really fast. So let's stay in the key of A. All right, I'm going to give you, we're going to start on a scale degree. We'll make it simple and start on the first scale degree. I'm going to have you jump around to different pitches, but it'll be listen and repeat format. So for example, I will ask you to sing 1, 2, and then you'll sing. And then 1, 3, 1, 4, and so on. But we're not going to stop there because that would be too easy. Then we're going to stay in the same key, but we're going to start on a different scale degree. So instead of starting from 1, we're going to start from 2, and we're going to go 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, and so on. So that is next level, and that's what we're doing. All right, key of A, sing this A major scale with me just to orient yourself. It goes like this. Ready and sing. Nice. Sing for me. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Sorry, 1, 5. I'm learning. 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8. Oh, I played the wrong note again. Mark? I'm sorry. This time we're going to stay in the same key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we're going to now start on the third scale degree, okay? That's not our new 1. This is still our 1. But now we're going to start from 3 and go jumping around to different places. It'll make sense. Just follow along. 3, 2, 3, 1. Let's go up now. 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6. Weird, huh? 3, 7, 3, 8. Yeah. Not as easy, right? We're still in this key. Let's start on the fifth scale degree. Right here, 5. All right, again, we'll go down and then we'll go up. Sing for me. 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 6, 5, 7, 5, 8. Making sense? Let's start at 8 now. 8, 7, 8, 6, 8, 5, 8, 4, 8, 3, 8, 2. That was hard. 8, 1. Also hard to play the right notes in 2 octaves. So that was, I think maybe a couple weeks ago, we did the major scale bungee with all those intervals. The next step would be doing that bungee exercise from a different scale degree each time. So that bungee, you're getting progressively wider. So you're going 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, okay, and so on. You could also start at 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, and then 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6. Make sense? It is more difficult. Sorry, I feel like I have a little itchy, a little fuzzy on my nose. It's more difficult, and if you are a beginning singer, I would get very comfortable, very, very comfortable with the major scale starting on 1 first. It's a little bit much to start from a different scale degree if you're not really solid with the major scale in general. Okay, so if you're ready for a challenge, though, that's a great way to challenge yourself. Sometimes we might call these modes, which is when a piece of music is kind of written around this mode, or it's the, let's say, A major scale, but starting on a different scale degree. Let me find list of musical modes. Okay, so the major scale contains 7 modes. There you go. That was just from Google. So the first mode is Ionian, which is just the major scale. The second scale, if we start on the second scale degree, we call this Dorian. Phrygian, if we start on the third scale degree. Lydian, if we start on the fifth scale degree. Sorry, fourth scale degree. Mixolydian, if we start on the fifth. Aeolian, if we start on the sixth. This is also just minor. And then Locrian, if we start on the seventh. I know this is super weird. Again, it's the same scale that we're working with. We're just starting on a different scale degree, starting on the 1, the 2, the 3, and so on. Okay, let me know. Any questions so far? I know this is a little bit of a mixed bag lesson. We're kind of touching on things that we haven't prior. Let me know how things are settling in your brain, if things are making sense, if things are confusing. I'm interested to know what you're thinking. Our last 10 minutes are just Q&A, so you can also save your questions for then, but just taking a little test in the waters. How you doing with this? I think I shared this website in a previous lesson, but I want to see if I can find it again. It's this website that I think will be really massively helpful for you. It has the different scales and chords written out, but it also has an option to play them. So let me see if I can find that. Mm. You know, okay, Mark says it's making sense. Nick says definitely new knowledge with the 7 modes. Never learned this in drama school singing classes. Now, the modes are something that you would learn in a music theory class or an ear training class. And the way that they usually teach modes, which is pretty interesting, they teach modes in like, old sort of like Greek and Roman Empire days that composers would use these modes to evoke a certain quality. Like some modes would maybe make you sleepy, or some modes might make you angry. So I would love to see if I can find a resource on that just for your continued education. It would also be interesting. So, what are modes and how do I use them? That seems pretty straightforward. So, here you go. That also explains why they're Greek names. So, the word mode comes from the Latin for manner or method, but musical modes all originated in ancient Greece. So, they have Greek names. Um, it goes over what those modes are. And then, oh, there are some examples. So, that's really cool. Ooh, it's super interesting. They have examples from contemporary music of as well. So like Billie Jean by Michael Jackson and Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple kind of more use the Dorian mode. Yeah, this is a great resource. So if you're interested, definitely check out that link that I just posted because they have examples of all that stuff. Okay, I was about to find that resource for you. Oh, how am I going to find it though is the question. um that might be something that I have to return to later. Ooh, let's see. Ooh, no. I'm not going to be able to find this right now. I will later. I'll post it in the in the comments on this video. Okay, so my friends, with our last 5 minutes of major scale work, I'm going to do a little quiz with you, okay? We'll see how well your knowledge of the scale is. So I'm going to go back to this A major scale. We're going to sing the scale. All right, get ready to sing a little bit slower. Here comes the quiz. I'm going to play a pitch. I would love for you to guess what scale degree it is. You can guess using numbers. So you could say, oh, I think that's a 3, or I think that's a 8 or 1. Or you could guess using solfege as well if you're a solfege person. Okay. So again, here's that scale. Tell me what scale degree this is. A hint, you can walk up to it. So you can always walk up from 1. You can go 1, 2. I gave you that one. So that's the 3rd scale degree. Same key. So we're in the key of A major, Mark. So I'm playing A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And then your task is, can you hold that scale in your head? Da, 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 da. When I play a pitch like, do you know what scale degree that is? Again, da, 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 da. In your head, you can be walking up or down. You can be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or you could be going 8, 7. And that was the 7th scale degree that I just played, or the T. Good guess, Carl. That was R. Listen to it in context now. There it is. Yeah. Okay, let me give you a few more. Again, this is our scale. It's not going to change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's this? Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is? Walk up to it, walk down to it. Any guesses? Let me help you out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is an advanced skill. If you're like, what? This is over my head. I have been in your shoes. It is an advanced skill, but this is the skill that musicians develop over time. This is the skill musicians develop in order to figure out melodies by ear. So that's what I'm doing with my students when I'm learning a melody quickly or I'm breaking down a riff for them, something like that. I will listen to the piece of music, whatever it is. I'll figure out, okay, what kind of feels like home bass. That tells me what key it is. And then I'm doing that math of the intervals. Hey, Nick was gonna say 5, but was hesitant. Well, you were correct. And Carl, it's very, very common to mix up the 5 and the 8. They kind of have a open quality to them, I know that might not make sense to everybody, but 1 5 and 1 8 kind of both have this sort of hollow feeling. So it's super, super common to mix those up. Um, if you would like to develop this skill, ear training apps are a good way to go. You can also check out for free, totally free, musictheory.net. They have theory lessons. I'm always recommending them because it's great. They don't, try to get you to buy anything. It's just good free resources. If you want to pay a couple dollars, they do have them in app form, but all of the lessons and exercises are just on the website. So you can start developing more music theory knowledge as well as this interval training that we are talking about. Okay, Q&A time. And Sheila's kicking it off. What kind of microphone would you suggest investing in? I now own a 58, which is probably the cheapest. I really want to learn some more jazz. It's my passion. Sheila, when I discovered jazz, which was kind of late in life, I discovered jazz in college, just really was not exposed to it before that. It just was so illuminating and so wonderful. I've shared a bit of my story before. I went to college and thought that I had to sing classical music, that was the only performance degree available. And I ended up changing courses and doing music education instead. But I still felt like I was kind of a failure if I didn't have this big operatic voice, which I just didn't have. And so when I heard there was a jazz teacher. I didn't know about her, but I went to this master class. She taught it, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is my jam. I can do this. I can sing this. So that's a little bit of encouragement for any of you who feel like you haven't found your niche or your style or your genre. Listen to more than just what you're used to. Listen to more than top 40. You won't find, folk and jazz and oldies and stuff like that on top 40, and some of those styles and singers might be just a really comfy fit for your voice, and I want you to find that. Back to Sheila's question, though, of what mic to invest in. So, Sheila, an SM58 is a great mic. There's nothing wrong with an SM58. I use an SM58 when I perform live. And actually, in my day to day teaching, I just have an SM58. I'm looking at it right now that I use. So, there is nothing wrong with that, especially for live performances. If you want to get into more recording, traditionally the advice has been to go with a condenser mic. They're a bit more sensitive, so they can pick up on more nuances of the voice. However, there are some pretty popular dynamic mics for recording as well. Unfortunately, my answer is going to be a little bit of a non answer. With a microphone, you really got to try it out yourself. So you can go online and see what it is that people like. You might see some repeated names like the Rode NT something is one that people like. Audio Technica is another. I think it's AT 2020 maybe is the model of that people like. So you're going to see some repeated names and you can see reviews, but what would be really good? Okay, I'll say the best thing that you could do is do what's called a mic shootout, where you go to maybe Guitar Center or another independent store, music store, and ask them if you can try out some different mics before purchasing, because each mic is going to have a different quality to it. And some like that's what I did before I decided on my mic. My mic that I use for recording is an, hold on, let me think, Vanguard Audio Labs V13 tube condenser mic. And I decided on that comparing against a ton of other microphones. And I just did it by ear, and I made the decision based on what I felt brought out the qualities in my voice that I liked the best. So that's Number one, the best thing that you could do would be a mic shootout comparison. Second best would be going onto YouTube and seeing people's mic reviews, especially if they're reviewing a couple different mics at a time, so that you can hear the difference in quality. Again, it's to some degree comparing apples to oranges because a different singer with a different tone and weight to their voice might like a certain mic that to me I feel doesn't do great things for my voice and my tone. Um, Anyways, oh, nice. So Mark said, I recommended the AT 2020 USB, and it's been the best investment Mark ever made. Beautiful. That's awesome. So I recommended that to Mark, and I've recommended it to others because I know a lot of professional singer friends who really love it and think it's a great. How expensive is that? I wonder. Let's see uh, what it is right now. AT 2020. And the reason I mentioned the USB mic is because you don't have to get an audio interface. When what I'm using right now is also a USB mic, but yeah, the Audio Technica AT 2020 looks to be at the most 150, and that might come with some other things. It might come with like a little stand or cable or something. At the least, I'm seeing it's 127. So that is not a bad price at all. My first mic that I bought was, I think it was under $100, and it was an MXL 990, and I was perfectly happy with it. And then I saved up and upgraded to my current mic. But anyways, yeah, Mark, I'm really glad that you're happy with that. And it does make a difference to be able to hear yourself well. But again, Sheila, SM58 is like industry standard kind of workhorse. And so yeah, awesome. Hopefully Guitar Center does sorry, not guitar shootouts, mic shootouts. I'm not sure what the protocol currently is with COVID, especially. I know that's a concern, singing into a mic and droplets and all of that. So that might be paused at the moment, but yeah. And Mark is saying Mark's more of a Western country kind of singer. Charlie Pride, Don Williams. Yeah. And singers like that, you might not hear them on the radio, and it can be a little bit disheartening, to say the least, when you don't hear voices like your own, or you don't hear songs that you can easily sing along with. Um, Cal, G Mixolydian. So do you mean key of G major? Mixolydian would be starting on the fifth scale degree, which means that instead of going, oh, sorry. Instead of starting on G, you would start on the D. Anyways, Nosteron and Sheila, I'll get to your question very soon. So Nosteron, take a look at, oh, not that. Hold on. I'll find it for you. This link. So a mode is, oh, that is way too long of a link. Let me get it again. The short one. Modes. There you go. So a mode is when we are in a certain key, but instead of starting and ending on the first scale degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we start on a different scale degree. So we might start on 1, that is a mode in itself, Ionian. You could also start on the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. Okay. And Sheila asking, would it be to my advantage to take the 14-day trial? She means a 30-day singer versus one-on-one session with me at the moment, not employed full-time. Yeah. So the 14-day trial, I think, is free. And if you haven't done that yet, then that would be good to do, just to, get the most out of it. See if you like the site, download the MP3 exercises available, because that, you would get to keep because they'd just be on your computer or your phone. A one on one lesson is, I do think it's a good idea. It can be a really good idea in the beginning of your vocal training. Um, Basically, what I do in a first lesson is I identify what's the most important thing that you need to work on. And for most people, it's developing that mix or middle registration. Um, for some people, it's developing their head voice because without head voice, we can't mix, right? And I would say more often than not, male singers, we have to spend more time in their head voice. Some of my beginning male students just can't even access it at all in the very beginning, or it's very weak, very unstable. That's pretty normal. Um, but with singers who are able to get into head voice, woo, and able to access their chest voice, then we start to go for that mix or middle blend. And in general, singers tend to either get shouty or flip into head voice. And so part of that first lesson process is determining what is your tendency and then finding exercises that work for you to be able to sing in the middle part of your range without either shouting or flipping into head voice. And very generally, like, if you want, let me see. I think was last week's lesson on mix, or was it the week before? I kind of go through that. So that can be a little bit of like a replacement for a first lesson kind of thing. Let me see. I always, yeah. Okay, let me get this link for you. So this could be a little bit of that first week stuff. Um, then, sorry, my brain is trying to put things together. What I always say for people before booking a lesson is, do you feel stuck? Like, is there something specific that you want help getting over? And if you feel stuck and you're not able to break through on your own with free resources, then it is a good idea to get a lesson to get off on the right foot. And a teacher like me or someone else can help identify what's stuck. Again, typically first lesson, we're really working on that mix middle range and finding what exercises work best for you um, in that range. That tends to be most difficult for people. Yeah. Mark. Yes. So Mark, we've continued with those live feedback Zoom sessions. If you're a full access 30-day singer student, it's every other week. So it's myself, some weeks it's Abram, other weeks. So we just kind of trade off. So those are on an ongoing basis. I do think you need to be subscribed as a full access member in order to get those. But you should be receiving emails. And if you're not, email support at 30daysinger.com. Just ask them about that. And Nick, awesome. So Nick is saying, thank you for the advice 2 weeks ago about finding the balance of giving myself credit when singing well and giving myself permission to fail. Yeah, yeah, that's so good. Um, so Mark, those links would be emailed to you. So if you're full access member, then those links are emailed. I'm not sure what the schedule is in terms of when they send out those emails because I don't get them. But okay, got it. Got the first email in July. Haven't had one since. Okay, yeah. Then I would definitely email support at 30daysinger.com to make sure that you're still on that list to get those email updates because that's how they're doing that communication is via email. It wouldn't be on the site, I don't think, because it's just a Zoom webinar link that they send out. Yeah. And Nostron, let's see, when is my next one? I want to say, top of my head, I think it's the 15th of November. Um, Abram will have one next week. I'm not sure exactly when. Mine, Monday, November 15th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry I can't be more help with that. I'm not in charge of, you know, updating the site or payment or subscriber relations. I'm just making the lessons. All right. Thank you all for being here. Such a pleasure to have you with me. I hope you have a good rest of your week. Next week, we are going to be discussing singing after injury or strain. So, very important topic. We'll talk about self assessments that you can do and gentle exercises to get you back on your feet. All right. I will see you then. Bye.